Hey, you guys, I'm happy you're here. I hope you had a good day or are having a good day. Do you feel helpless at times in not being able to control your life or your well being or your emotions? I know I do. I struggle with this all the time. In this video, I'm going to show you how to gain complete control over every aspect of your life and really make that change for the better, make it for the good, make it sustainable, and do it really quickly. So, the ultimate secret to bring about any change in your life or within your body is by consciously connecting your heart and your brain together as one whole. So, this is called coherence. I want you to stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm going to give you exact instructions on how to do this. In the Bible, it says that the good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of the evil treasure of his heart produces evil. For out of abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks. We have over 40,000 specialized cells in our heart that are bunched together in a very particular way. They're very similar to the way the cells in our brain are bunched together. They're formed in a way that scientists are now calling them in our heart the little brain in the heart. The interesting thing, though, is these cells, they operate completely independently from the brain. We typically think of the heart and the brain as working independently of each other as two separate organs. Our brain is our thinker. It's where our ego lives. It's where we experience reasoning and questions, and it takes us through countless loops of doubt. It's where our logic lives, and it's where we waste a lot of time, quite frankly. You're faced with something and you have to make a decision very fast, and you find yourself really going through this cycle, going back and forth through possible outcomes and what ifs, and you truly stress yourself out over it. And I know it sounds familiar because it's something that we do probably every single day. Our heart, on the other hand, it doesn't think in logic. So it has no ego. It has no filters. It doesn't process information the way that our brain does. The cells in our heart, they learn, they think, they remember independently of the way our brain does. In theory, you can say that our heart is like a form of intelligence, and it functions completely separate from the brain. Our brain, for example, it could have one thought and our heart can have a completely different thought. Or our brain can learn one way and our heart can learn something a totally different way. Our brain may remember things in a particular fashion, and our heart, on the other hand, is going to remember it or can remember it quite differently. I know you've probably heard of the saying, think with your heart and not with your mind, or vice versa, or follow your heart. This is kind of where that all comes from. Our heart is like the receiver of our emotions. So it kind of takes on whatever emotion that we're feeling at the moment, and it reacts accordingly. So our brain sees danger, our heart's going to start beating rapidly and quickly, and it's going to tell the brain very fast to start to release the stress hormone in the body. So that if we're in a situation where, for example, our life is in danger, these stress hormones can be released, and it can activate the fight or flight response in order to get us to safety. If, on the other hand, we are in a happy place, or we tell our heart or our body that we're happy, it's going to tell the brain to start to release those feel-good hormones, and it's going to make us relax, and we're not going to experience that kind of stress as we would if we would allow ourselves to feel that fear or that frustration in our hearts beating rapidly. So basically, we can control what our heart tells our brain to do. We can react if we're in fear or frustration, or we can react in a calm or happy manner. Because when we're stressed, when we're in a stress situation, when our body is releasing those hormones for the fight or flight, everything else shuts down. So there's nothing, it won't allow our body to do anything else but be stressed out. So you don't want to stay in that state for too long. That's why it's important to know how to regulate your body and to regulate the environment that you're creating in your body in order to produce positive outcomes. I think because our heart and our brain kind of subconsciously functions independently of each other, we often experience a lot of chaos and a lot of lack in our lives, or mental illness like depression and health problems, heart problems, diabetes, etc. But if we're able to harmonize or bring our heart and our mind together, if we're able to, experience this cohesiveness or coherence, the cells in our heart can be harmonized with the cells in our brain in a way that we can alter those states of being or alter the environment and even alter future circumstances. Not to get too scientific, but our heart and our brain have what's called neurons. I want you to follow me. Try to stay with me on this. This is a picture of neurons. There's a close-up picture, and then there's one that's kind of far away where you can see the networks that are forming. Neurons are like little messengers in our body. So they receive information, they determine what to do with that information, and then they transmit that information throughout the brain and the rest of the body. So we see this, for example, in neurons transmitting information from the brain, for example, to the muscles in our body so that we can move. So it tells our muscles to move. We see this in the heart where they control the rate that our heart beats. The thing with neurons is that they're always looking for other neurons to connect to. They want to form networks together. Whatever they're being told to do, they want to find other neurons that are being told to do the same thing. The way that they connect to each other are by little nodules on them, and they're called neurites. So if we look back at this picture, the red arrow shows the neurites on the neurons. Stay with me. When you have a thought, for example, that thought is a result of a network of neurons coming together. And when that thought passes or when it leaves, that's a result of that network disconnecting from each other. So that's happening all the time in our body, very fast. Neurons are connecting, networks are forming, and they're disconnecting. It's happening all the time. You'll see this and why it's so important in a little bit, but stay with me. So we ask ourselves, like, how do neurons connect? How do they form? Neurons connect in response to something in your life. So something that you're doing. If you're striving to become something from one moment to the next, that's going to encourage the neuron network to grow. If we choose, for example, to do something like learn a new song or learn a new way of thinking, reading a book, all of that is going to trigger the neurons to find other neurons that will match what you're trying to do, right? So they'll connect and develop this network that's needed in order to accomplish your goal. I want to learn a new way of thinking. I want to learn this new song. And you're going to put all your energy into doing that. And the more energy you put into it, the more networks that are forming, the faster they're forming, and the more networks you have, the quicker you're going to accomplish that goal, the more likely you're going to accomplish that goal. So does that kind of make sense? So you see that we have complete control over the success of whatever it is that we're trying to do. And like I said, the larger the network, the better. If we're able to harmonize or connect the neurons in our heart to the neurons in our brain, a variety of things can happen. We talked a little bit about kind of the emotional piece of it, how we can control the emotional aspect of what's happening in our body. Other things, outside of health, we can tap into like a deep intuition. We can manifest the invisible, so we can bring things that we want to occur or want to happen in our life to fruition. That's where that whole like meditation piece comes into mind. Or you hear them say, whatever you focus on grows, and the more energy to put into something will come to life. The more faith you have in a particular task or goal, the more likely it is to come to fruition. That's where all of that comes from. I think kind of regulating the environment in terms of our emotions can also help kind of regulate our mood. So we feel those emotions of fear and frustration come on to us, then we can quickly activate this coherence or try to harmonize our heart to our brain and feel those emotions to change what we're feeling. I'm going to link a video here on other benefits of harmonizing your heart and brain, so I want you to go ahead and check that out too. But coming up, I'm going to show you how to make the heart and the brain connection, how to bring those two pieces together in coherence. But first, if you're finding value in this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and share it. And let me know in the comments if this is something you've ever heard of, or if this is something that's pretty new to you. If you think about like when you're able to use this idea of harmonizing or coherence, you can do it any time of day, any day of the week, with your eyes open or closed. Like, this is so accessible, it's ridiculous. The more you activate this coherence or this harmony, the more changes that's going to occur in whatever area you're focusing on, and the faster it will happen. So if you're focusing on better health, the more you focus on that and harmonize the two, or the idea and the emotion of having good health, the more likely that's going to occur, right? So it's the idea of it, and it's the emotion of doing that or having that, and bringing those two together. It's what's going to form whatever it is that you're looking for or trying to achieve or accomplish. I think the best way of thinking of this is, we want to get out of our mind and into our heart. Majority of us, we live in our minds most of the time. Most of every day, we're always in our mind. We're always thinking. We're always processing information and asking questions. And like I mentioned before, it's like that continuous loop, because that's kind of the world we live in, the society we live in, all the information that's coming at us. We're always in our mind. But to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, you have to get out of your mind, and you really have to activate or put your awareness on your heart. So that's the number one thing. You want to shift your awareness from your mind into your heart. The way that you do this is you want to physically, gently touch your heart center. If you tell someone to shift your awareness to their heart without touching their heart, they're still in their mind. They're going to think of what it's like to be in your heart. If you actually gently touch your heart, wherever that sensation is where the awareness goes. People touch it like I did just right here. They do this and touch their heart center. You see people do this and touch their heart center. However you want to do it, just make sure that you're touching it. The next thing that you want to do is you want to slow your breathing more than normal. So what I do is I typically inhale for 5 seconds, and then I'll exhale for 5 seconds. And I'll do this over and over and over again until my breathing is really, really slow. The reason that you want to do this is the only time that you really breathe this way in that slow manner is when you feel safe and when you're not really concerned or worried about your surroundings or your environment. Doing this, breathing slowly, touching your heart, is telling your body that you are safe. Because remember, your heart receives whatever emotion that you're giving to it. The last thing that you want to do is you want to feel whatever it is that you're trying to bring out. You want to feel the feeling that sets up that coherence. So some positive emotions or feelings that will activate this harmony is thinking of God, or thinking of appreciation for someone or something, being thankful or having gratitude for someone or something, care, love, compassion. So you have your hand on your heart, you're slowing your breathing, you can have your eyes open or closed, and you really just start to think of things that make you feel good. So for me, for example, sometimes I'll do this and I'll think of like a favorite vacation I had, or some kind of scenery like on a beach or something that brings about these positive emotions, because these positive emotions, the gratitude, the love, the care, it creates an energy field around you, a magnetic energy field around you. Magnetic, it's going to bring in what you're focusing on. Having an electric field around you is so very powerful. And that's what you need in order to bring about these changes, whether that's in your body, in your environment, in your future. Typically, like, it doesn't take long to kind of activate this harmony. It really only takes like 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, like, you're going to set in motion a cascade of events, like a series of events, biochemical events in your body that's going to last for hours. Like, I think it can last up to 6 hours. Like, that's how powerful this is. Just taking a few minutes, 3 minutes out of your day, slowing down your breathing and thinking of something good releases so much positive chemistry in your body. Your body has no choice but to do what it's designed to do, and that is to create and to heal. Our bodies on their own are designed to heal themselves, and our bodies, or our beings, are designed to create, right? Because we're children of God. That's what we're designed to do. I hope this video was very helpful to you. I want you to check out the playlist for more information on the benefits of doing this every day. And in the meantime, please be well, and I'll see you soon.